on the way there, I have to admit, when I was driving, I was like, why did I agree to this?
So going out and getting your first gig in a band is so intimidating, especially as an adult saxophone learner, and that's why I wanted to share this story with you today. So that was Jacqui. She's a Sax School member, and she's just landed a gig that a few months ago she never thought she'd be able to do. And it's not even on her main saxophone. That's a whole nother story. We'll get to that in a second. But if you're an adult saxophone learner and you fancy going out and playing in a band, then you're going to want to check out this story today, because I think it's going to blow your mind at what's actually possible for us as saxophone players getting out in the community and playing with other people. Let's dig in. This is a brilliant story. So, Jacqui, how many bands are you playing in at the moment?
Quite a few, to be honest with you. So I'll go through the week. It's easy that way. So Monday night is with a big band. Then on a Tuesday night, I now play up in a big band in Preston. Wednesday night, that's usually my night off. And that's when I try and catch up with Sax School. Thursday night, I have, a few years ago, I put my own swing band together, my own 7-piece.
Okay, we need to come back to that bit in a second. Please don't tell me you are in a different band on Friday, Saturday and Sunday, are you?
Fridays, I tend to dip. So this Friday, I'm dipping, or that's a gig night for us.
Okay.
But I also play in a sax quartet. We try and rehearse when we can. So sometimes that's thrown in on a day when we're not doing other things.
All right. So if you've never played in a single community band, your head's probably spinning now listening to Jacqui playing in all of these different groups. But here's the thing. Jacqui actually started learning as an adult. It's interesting to find out how she actually got started on saxophone, and also check out what she had to say about her first experience of getting started with her very first community band.
I took up sax quite late, really late in life, I suppose, compared to a lot of people. But I was fascinated by the saxophone and wanted to, and I kind of one day I just thought, what, I'd love to play saxophone. And then I thought, well, what's stopping you? And I was like, well, nothing really, apart from me. I thought, well, just go to your local music shop, ask them their advice. So I got a saxophone, which was out on a lease, just in case we didn't work together,
Yeah.
And my daughter at the time was going for clarinet lessons. So I just said, can you ask your tutor, does she know anywhere locally where I can go and play? Because I'm ready now to go, and I need to go and play with people.
Yeah.
Anyway, came out and she said, there's a school, it's a school band, but if you're an ex-pupil or you're a parent of the child, then, you can join.
When you first started joining the community band, did you find it was challenging? Like, were there lots of new things that you had to get your head around?
Yeah, absolutely, because there's a big difference from playing in your bedroom or your living room and doing things at your own tempo that you can play it at that tempo. Then when you get out into a community band and then you realise when it's counted in, that tunes are quite often faster than you thought. I sat next to one of the students who was about to leave school, and he was a really good player. So, it was a bit like, great, he's 16 and he's a fantastic player. And, here
Yeah.
I am. Sitting next to a better player than you is brilliant, because it use your ears straight away. I couldn't wait to get there every Tuesday night. It was so good.
That's fantastic. So how long ago was that when you started your very first concert band?
It is a while ago. It's probably about 18 years ago, I'd say. And
Okay.
at the time, I had a young family, and I was working part time, and it was hard to fit it all in at times. But I was determined, and that was my thing. I was not going to let go once I'd found it. So
Man, I love that determination that Jacqui had, even with a young family, to follow through and really get the most out of that community band experience, because it helped her playing, but it also connected her with a bunch of musicians. And in fact, it was one of those connections that led to the next chapter of the story. Check this out.
the quartet that I played in a while ago, the baritone player, he was retiring from playing. So he just said to me, he said, well, look, he said, why don't you just have a blow on it? I'll let you have it, have a blow. And if you want it, and buy it. And if you find 6 months down the line that you don't like it, put it on eBay and you'll easily get your £400 back, This battered case arrived, and I got this great big thing out, And I thought, I don't think I'm ever going to get to grips with this, Started playing it, and I instantly I kind of fell in love with the tone of it, and just the great big rich notes that you can get out of it. And so I bought it from him, and sort of started playing it. My friend told me that the Merseyside police band were looking for they're looking for a baritone player. Would I be interested? And she would speak to the musical director. So anyway, I went along thinking, I'm not going to get into this. I'm probably not good enough. But because obviously I could read and everything else, I got offered the opportunity to play there. But then I realised that actually it didn't have a low A, this baritone, because it was quite old, and also it was probably a little bit too funky for that type of music. We were just going into COVID, and
Okay.
so everything was like stopping, and I'd taken voluntary redundancy to set up my own community interest company, which is actually called Power of Music. And it was around using music to work with people with dementia, stroke rehabilitation. And we'd set up some community choirs. We were using the sax quartet as well to go into nursing homes and care homes. And so all of that went on hold, obviously, with COVID.
Mm.
And then, because I'd previously done some work with GPs and the NHS, I went full time back into the NHS to support COVID. I'd
Wow.
said to my husband, I'll do that, and any extra money that I'm earning, I'm going to put so much away. And if I ever get to the amount that I want, I'm going to buy myself a new baritone. And I'd set my sights on the Yanagisawa bronze-bodied, is it BW02, something like that? That's
Yeah,
one of
it's
the
a
ones.
nice saxophone.
Yeah, it's a beautiful saxophone. So because obviously my role did carry on, and I was able to save enough money up to buy it. So
Okay, so I don't know about you, but my head's spinning a bit here because Jacqui's already done so much stuff apart from doing all these different bands and buying the Barry Sax, the old one, and then playing with the police band and deciding it's not right. And then COVID happening and she sets up her own music support group as well, but then goes back to work in the NHS, saves some money, buys another fancy Barry Sax. Well, now we get to the point where the really interesting thing's about to happen, because now, after COVID, she's got this amazing Barry saxophone and she gets a fantastic opportunity to actually go and play with a band that's really challenging for her. This is the exciting part. Check this out.
So I then got asked if I could go on deck with a band up in Preston, a big band. It's a community big band that does the odd gig, yeah. But they're
Okay.
really good. There's some really good musicians in that band.
Yeah.
Yeah, really good. And
How did you feel about it when you got asked to dep in that? Because it can be quite intimidating, can't it? Yeah, I know
yeah,
you're really experienced now, Jacqui. You've been doing this for a long time. But even so, being asked to come and sit in with a band, you don't know any of the people, you don't know the music, it can be quite intimidating, right?
yeah, I was, on the way there. I have to admit, when I was driving, I was like, why did I agree to this? I have no idea what I'm letting myself in for. And I've not played in a big band on my baritone. I played in a concert band, but not a big band. They were lovely, actually. They were so, welcoming. And the sax section in particular, obviously were, really lovely. And the guy who leads the band, he was just like, just relax, we're just glad that you're here and that you're helping
Yeah.
us out. And I thought about that. I thought, actually, I am here and I am helping out. So
Yeah.
I will play to the best of my ability. But if I do make mistakes, or, I do things wrong, then it's not because, I'm doing it for the right reason. I'm going
Yeah.
wrong for the right reason, because I'm here to try and help and fill a seat, so.
Yeah, I think what you're saying there, Jacqui, is really, really important for anybody who might be watching this who's never taken that first step of going to play in a community band or any sort of public group like that, because it is intimidating. And would you say it's fair that it's easy to overthink that process rather than just getting in there and going for it and learning on the way?
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, because you kind of, it's funny actually, because one of the master classes that you did recently about yourself and mind over matter with Mark, you can overthink it on the way there. I was thinking, like, oh, I don't know what sort of music they've got. Now my attitude is I'm here to do the best I can, and I'm here to enjoy myself, because actually if you're not enjoying the process, then why are you doing it?
Exactly.
I've realised now, every single time I've sat in a chair in a band, whether I've played well or not so well, I have come away and I have learned something. I've learned something maybe that I can't do, so I need to go away and look at that and address
Yeah.
that. Or I've learned something that I played that really well. Wow, I didn't realise I could. I've just come away with something every single time. So that's what it's
Yeah.
all about. Isn't it? You're not going to learn overnight. It takes time.
Now, that's why I wanted to share this story with you today, because that is such an important thing for all of us to remember. Every time we go and we play with a new bunch of musicians, we are learning and we're growing as people and growing as musicians. So it's such a great opportunity for us. And I really encourage you to make sure you take it. Now, hang on, just before we finish up, I did promise that we'd get back to Jacqui's band, because it's a really interesting story about how this got started. It's quite unusual, and probably a lot of people wouldn't have taken this opportunity if it turned up. But, you know, Jacqui, we're finding out, is a pretty remarkable person. So check out how she got started with her band.
It's mad, really. I don't know. Well, what happened was a few years ago, when I was playing in one of the big bands, there was a tenor player there who was kind of retiring, really, you know. And he sort of said to me, you know, I've got loads of music up in my attic, you know, for a small combo band. And he said, I want to give it to you, and I want you to promise me you'll start your own band. And I was like, well, okay, you know, how would I go about doing that? You know, anyway, I made the promise that if you gave me the music, I would, you know, I'd do that.
So how busy are you with that band then, Jacqui?
Really busy. Yeah, we rehearse every Thursday because we've got a residential. So once a month we play on the third, either Saturday or Sunday of the month. And then in between, so we've got a wedding in 3rd of June. You know, we've just done the coronation. We tend to be, once we go out and play somewhere, we get booked again.
I think that's amazing. And I'm curious to know, if somebody handed you a whole bunch of music, would you go ahead and set up a band? I think that's brilliant what Jacqui's doing. And there's so much stuff in this session today that we can take away and put into action in our own playing. Particularly though, I want you to really think about how community bands are so valuable to you. Also, just a reminder that Jacqui is a member of Sax School, and she's using the resources, the lessons, and the support from the tutors inside Sax School to help her develop her playing, even though she's already out going and doing all this sort of stuff. So wherever you're in your journey, whether you're just getting started in saxophone, or whether, like Jacqui, you're already going out and playing in lots of different bands, come and see what we're doing at Sax School, because there's so many great things in there that will just help you to move up to the next level. And as I'm recording this video, there is a 14-day trial, and the link for that is down below. Thanks so much for watching though. Keep practicing hard. I'll catch you next time. New York!
Thank you very much, ladies and gentlemen. Come and take a bow.